kind of fucked, and I don't mean just black people, brown people, and the poor. I mean we're fucked. The narrative being shaped by our new techno-feudalism lords is only stage one, and the next stage is a new serfdom that takes place in the cloud. This is not the feudalism of old. It's one where the feudalists who have chosen the moniker cloudist are not only hoping for our cowardice and impotence in the face of revolution, rather, they've designed systems to ensure it. Let's talk about cloud capital and why the black protest culture, digital blackface, and other reinforcing beliefs will clickbait us into servitude. What is cloud capital? It's a term popularized by Yanis Varoufakis to describe a new form of capital that functions as a produced means of behavioral modification, extracting surplus value and free labor from users, bypassing traditional markets. Now, Yanis states that the primary goal of this is to sell to advertisers and to capitalize off the centuries-old foolproof renter's market they call cloud rent and quote, by selling access to their audience, but the long game will eliminate choice, i.e. free will. Let's run down some terms so that you understand techno-feudalism and where we exist in the paradigm. As you can see, I'm a cloud serf. I create content for a subgroup of people who are interested in thought that is actionable, not performative. And yes, I'm coming for the throats of digital warriors and online pseudo-intellectuals who mascot action through online outrage. But if I or any other user of online platform do not align with the mission of the cloudist, you can be shadow banned, and I have. This creates a system of behavioral modification where cloud serfs are only espousing the ideas of the cloudist, and cloud proles are exploited for their cloud capital, locking us all in the feedback loop for the platform fiefdom, eliminating agency. In other words, putting us back on the plantation. You train the machine how to enslave you. This is what I meant by hell is empty, and the devil you feared is you. The gamification of thought. For all those who haven't read my article, please feel free to check it out on my Substack page. But what if the cloudists have disquieting ideas about the world that go beyond the realm of the aligned missions for advertisers or keeping their audience base? And how does black culture play into the paradigm? That's where we need to examine the actions of those behind the 92% movement, and whether this is designed for our liberation or our subjugation. The 92% movement, the 92% of black women who voted for freedom, advocates for black America to not hit the streets and stands in sharp contrast to our history of civil rights protest in America. The idea is that we are to collectively stand still as we go through a constitutional crisis, online rage baiting, and other tactics by the administration. All efforts to garner black outrage, and more importantly, protest, should be silenced for now. But from executive order to executive order, many of the actions by the Trump administration center around removing the rights of black Americans. They're even floating releasing Chauvin, the cop who killed George Floyd. But why? I believe they're trying to serve their base, inspire an uprising to declare martial law so that they can seize government control, eliminating intervention, and to provide a fall guy when the whole thing goes sideways. The fall guy is black people, if you're following. If we protest, they'll pin it on us. If we don't, the same. It reminds me of two people who are not talked about enough in the discourse about the rise of Nazi Germany. Hanussen, the famous psychic who did a reading for Hitler, where he predicted the Great Fire that allowed the Nazis to enact Article 47, allowing them to take over Germany, and Emil Gumbel, the statistician and pacifist who made an anti-war speech that was somehow misinterpreted as anti-German. Psychics have always been seen as frivolous, but statistics was a new field of which it was not well understood or well received. Now that I think about it, we've come full circle. Only the Svengali is a cloudist using data analytics to predict our future. It is a bit uncanny, but I can't help but notice that a large part of their plan for domination disproportionately relies on black and brown outrage theoretically and algorithmically, using rage bait and digital blackface to control and manipulate behavior. But does cloud capital provide the opportunity to build coalitions to organize and fight the oppressors? Varoufakis believes so. I'm not so sure. But the decision to not protest quietly or violently is designed to ensure our servitude. I'm not sure who made this decision, but it's widely propagated in social media and has the feel of someone experimenting with the lives of millions, using black bodies as pawns in the war for men's souls. The only hope I see to deliver us from this mess, besides a massive uprising right now, is that the looming market collapse caused by private equity defaulting on their adjustable rate loans, that banks turned into CLOs and sold to pensions as good debt, will burst sooner than later, causing millions to lose their pensions, and in turn the left, right, and center will finally come together for a common goal: to collectively unfuck ourselves from a future in a virtual hell loop.